General Sudhakar, this is the Global Digest think tank group.
So, I saw your resume today, your profile. Great job and excellent. Heartiest congratulations. The Global Digest is doing extremely well under your leadership.
Thank you.
In 5 years' time, you have actually touched a very significant milestones. You
Right.
have gone a long way. In fact, Global Digest is one of the few think tanks in the world which is well acclaimed, and you have a very outstanding reputation.
Thank you.
Outstanding.
Today you are our guest in our think tank discussion. So you are expert in the military. You also experience in uh, regional level and international level. We can call you into Africa too, right?
I am at a place called Jaipur, if you've heard of Rajasthan, Jaipur. I was a colonel of the regiment. That is the highest rank as far as the regiment is concerned. A regiment has got a good number, 30 odd battalions, and I had risen up to the status of additional director general, or the deputy commandant of Army War College. We have a training academy where the officers are trained. That's a war college, and you are responsible for the training of the officers, including officers from friendly foreign countries.
General Sadoka, as you mentioned also in your profile, you have various experience. Probably you are more in front line, right? Front line, like you have been in the conflict at the Ladakh, Kargil conflict. So, can you say you held the position at the very in the front line, so you are directly confrontation with enemy fighting.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I was in the front line dealing with the enemy directly, directly involved in the combat situation. Yeah, that's the right way of putting it.
First, in your military experience, especially you have combat experience between Pakistan and India, and between uh, China and India border area, right? Mainly these two border area you have combat experience, right? So what is your significant experience in these two neighbor country combat? How can you see these challenges in your own experience?
Well, I have had experience in both the sides. As you know, towards Pakistan side, you must have heard about a place called Siachen Glacier. A glacier which is almost about 75 to 110 kilometers long, and from where you have a ridge line flowing, and this glacier India occupied in 1984, and I happened to be at a place where during Operation Vijay, you may have heard the Pakistanis. They kept saying that the terrorists or mujahideens, they had come and occupied a place called Kargil, but taking the name of terrorist, a factor of deniability, they had sent the regular infantry, 8 NLI, Northern Light Infantry of Pakistan Army, along with the Mujahideen, to come and capture Kargil, where they were not supposed to be there. As per previous understanding, historic understanding, there were some areas which were left unoccupied by both the sides. Unoccupied because it is virtually impossible to sustain oneself at that height and altitude. And the terrain is so hostile that it is very difficult to maintain the supply chain line open. So under those circumstances, a trust factor was breached by Pakistan. They came and occupied that place. And continuity contiguous to this place is Siachen Glacier. I happen to be a company commander, and one of the advancing elements of Pakistan Army, they were actually almost decimated by me. They were advancing towards my post when I was a company commander, and with the available resources, I bid them hollow and almost destroyed all of them. And that was a singular achievement. As far as I was quite young, I was a major then, and it was quite a remarkable achievement. Why? Because when we went up, we went from a height of 12,000 feet and went to a height of almost 17,800 or 18,000 feet. And my satellite posts, forward posts were at 19,000, 21,000 feet or 22,000 feet. So while going up, we came under intense shelling. They used to shell very accurately. And during the initial phase, we did not have adequate field fortifications to protect ourselves. And in their case, the track or the road is to come right up to the coast. They used to travel in all-terrain vehicles or ATV. And but it so happened that damaged most of my equipments, but we kept waiting for an opportunity. The opportunities came, and we hammered them nice and properly at middle of the night. All the movements during those days is to take place during night. So we kept watching through the PNVD, passive night vision devices, for the following 10 to 15 days, that their rescue team is to come and recover the mortal remains of these soldiers for next 10 to 15 days. And that is how we silenced them. Otherwise, every day they used to actually keep shelling us, keep firing at us from morning 2 o'clock till day 10 o'clock, and 24 into 7, 365 days. So it became virtually unbearable. But the time came when we gave it back to them nice and properly, and thereafter they kept quiet.
As you said, there was a lot of shelling by Pakistani side. So each mean you want to say Pakistan side has artillery upper hand, they have better shelling or they have better artillery equipment. Isn't India side also counter shelling? India also have a lot of artillery, isn't it? How can you say about shelling?
You see, at that point in time, they definitely had a upper hand than us. Their artillery was
I see.
better because of the radar, weapon locating radar. But now Indian Army has gone far, far ahead. It has left Pakistan Army way behind. And this incident took place sometime in 99, 2000, around 2000.
Victory.
2000. So Kargil War. And since then till now, there is a lot of indigenous development. India has become a more or less, I would say, self-dependent, self-reliant. We are having our own defense production, our own gun systems. Our earlier we used to depend on outside import, a lot. These days, we have started producing guns, we have started producing ammunition, we have started producing tank, we started producing satellites, we started we have produced the prototype of the aircraft, except for the engine. For engine, we are looking around for Safran and other options from Japan. Korea is quite ahead in making of engine, but they haven't had launched an engine so far. So likewise, we are collaborating with agencies. We are depending on America for quite some time, but their response somehow is not as forthcoming as we expected it to be. Likewise.
Just for clarifying, that was Kashmir conflict. At the time, Pakistan was artillery upper hand, right? Artillery, they are sharing, they have better position. But if you see right now, India economy is much bigger than Pakistan, and you produce more weapon and artillery. And also, uh, India-Pakistan border is not that. Can you say you have clear line of control, LOC, both country agreements? So it's not that much problem about border,
Yeah.
right?
You see, the rest of we have the border with Pakistan. We have a larger share is that of the international border. The line of control is around 700, little over 700 kilometers.
I see.
Then we have a border, the Siachen I was talking about, actual ground position line, which is about 75 to 110 kilometers. This way, it actually, if you total up everything, it will come to almost about 3,500 kilometers or so, approximately. That is, this is divided. And with China, we have a mix of international border plus line of actual control. More or less, it is line of actual control with China. So 3,348 kilometers. So
each
it's
mean
good.
each mean between Pakistan and India, you have very short both country agreement line of control as you said. The rest 3,000 are not made yet any agreement. Very long.
Absolutely.
So
Correct.
that can be disputable or it can conflict
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. This line of control is actually disputed. If you ask me, this is a line
Still
which
disputed.
no, gradually it has actually got upgraded from, you know how Pakistan came into existence, you know about it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's partition, right? Partition, after partition.
partition. Right. So the partition, they had invaded into a state called Jammu and Kashmir. When Jammu and Kashmir is to enjoy an autonomous status, Jammu and Kashmir, it joined India voluntarily by a treaty of accession. And after having, during the process of this treaty of accession, the invaders or the raiders from Pakistan or the tribal raiders, they invaded Jammu and Kashmir, and the king of Jammu and Kashmir had requested India to send a regular army to defend Jammu and Kashmir. So that's how it came into existence. And the Prime Minister of India, he referred the matter when the battle was going on to United Nations. United Nations had laid down three different clauses. They said that ceasefire will come into effect, and the area occupied. Firstly, there will be a referendum held, and a referendum will be held subject to Pakistan vacating the area which they had penetrated or encroached into. And thereafter, depending on the option exercised by the people, the status of Jammu and Kashmir will be defined. Pakistan never vacated. We had 1947-48 war. We had 1965. We had 1971. We had 1999. In all the conflicts, Pakistan was bitten hollow. They came to realize that through conventional means, they will not be able to defeat India. India is too powerful, and therefore they resorted to proxy war, which they had gained experience of handling. When Soviet had actually invaded into Afghanistan, while pushing Soviet out with the help of Americans, they had employed the Mujahideen, and these Mujahideen, with the help of Mujahideen, they managed to push the Soviets out of Afghanistan. And the same Mujahideen, after Soviets left Afghanistan in 1989, they a kind of a change of status. They become a kind of what is the Mujahideen's becoming Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, the same Al Qaeda were actually basically logistic men in form of Mujahideen supporting the American forces in covert operation against Soviet. So they didn't know where to employ the Al Qaeda or these Mujahideens. So they thought, battle against Jammu and Kashmir is the best one. So they started a proxy war in J&K. Proxy war is more or less defeated. It has been weakened. Jammu and Kashmir has been developed into a kind of a seven-star state. When I say seven-star, it if you take a look at the Jammu and Kashmir, the type of roads, the railway line, the air connectivity, the tunnels, the bridges, the education centers, the tourism, it is like any other normal state or province anywhere in the world. So part of Jammu and Kashmir is still occupied by Pakistan. Indian government took a resolution in 1994 in the parliament that they will take the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir and the northern part, that is Gilgit and Baltistan, back as per the parliament resolution. It is very much part of unrealized Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore this off and on, the skirmishes, battles, they go on between Pakistan and in India. Pakistan's principal, one of the standing objective is to liberate Jammu and Kashmir and make it integrate to Pakistan, which they themselves have realized that they cannot do it. They have launched a doctrine known as bleeding India with 1,000 cuts by various means and methods. So time to time, you will have such kind of incidences like this. So it's going on.
I see. Kashmir issue, between India and Pakistan. There is a Pakistani occupied Kashmir and India occupied Kashmir, two things. But you said the whole Kashmir, including Pakistan occupied Kashmir, India occupied Kashmir, Indian parliament decided to be included in India side. So as you said, at the same time, Pakistan parliament can decide that, those Pakistan occupied will be part of Pakistan, and even they may also claim, usually they said India occupied Kashmir also should be included in Pakistan. So both sides is pulling Kashmir to this side and that side. So that is a pulling. But my point is, you have already border line, the two country border. So this LOC is not yet done between India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan, both countries occupy in Kashmir area. If you want to say the LOC was not there, or it is not clear border line between these two countries in Kashmir region.
You see, Jammu and Kashmir is one state. Okay, Jammu and Kashmir, it is one state. India is a conglomeration of princely states. They came together by multiple treaty of accession at the time of independence from British. Jammu and Kashmir also happened to be one of the princely states.
Right.
Okay, so like there are 564, 65 odd princely states which came together, joined the confederation or the nation of India, and India became an independent state. Jammu and Kashmir also happened to be one of the autonomous independent state. They also decided, but in deciding to join India, they took some time. By then, Pakistan had already become independent, or partition had taken place. And Pakistan, on their own, they invaded, despite there was a standstill agreement. There was a standstill agreement when Pakistan invaded with the Mujahideens or the raiders. So when they invaded India, Jammu and Kashmir was not part of India. It was a separate, independent, autonomous state. So in order to protect the state from Pakistan's invasion, the king of Jammu and Kashmir decided to join India. So when it joined India, by then Pakistan raiders had already come into Jammu and Kashmir. So whichever line they had come up to, that line was well ahead of the boundary between Jammu and Kashmir and the Pakistan. It was well into the Jammu and Kashmir. So the line up to which they had came, it was a conspiracy by Britishers and Americans, and then the military or then the leadership of India, political dispensation. It was a conspiracy to sort of, divide Jammu and Kashmir into whichever half they could capture up to that time, and whichever half was remaining to be part of India. So when you look at the line of control is a line which is artificially created by virtue of a head start by the Mujahideens or the raiders from Pakistan side into the state of Jammu Kashmir when it was autonomous and independent. And by the time Jammu and Kashmir, it took place in a very tight time frame with India, and our forces got mobilized after Treaty of Accession. We stopped them along that line. Otherwise, they were advancing towards India. So we stopped them along the line, and that line became, initially it used to be called as ceasefire line, CFL. That ceasefire line was converted into a line called as line of control in 1972. 1972, there was an agreement called a Shimla Agreement. The Shimla Agreement was a follow-up meeting post-liberation of Bangladesh. East Pakistan and West Pakistan. What Bangladesh is today is to be part of East
Right.
Pakistan. Okay. So Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, they sat down. We had 93,000 prisoners of war of Pakistan. We gave them at a platter. We had liberated Bangladesh. At that point in time, these are the questions which are coming up. You see, when you look back in hindsight, as to you had everything in your favor, why didn't you settle this line of control and take back Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir at that point in time? So when India took the parliament resolution, it was based on chronological sequence of event and logical understanding, not understanding, logical existing border of Jammu and Kashmir, erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir when it was autonomous. And that border is supposed to be the international border with Pakistan. What it means is Pakistan came into across that border, created an artificial line, or it was along a particular alignment where Indian Army had stopped. Indian Army could have also gone ahead. But the military leadership at that time, Lord Mountbatten, it was a common lord under which the Pakistan and India was being governed. He decided that the matter should be referred to United Nations, along with Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister. When the Indian Army was winning, we are pushing them back to their own territory. We are stopped in between. We are not allowed to go ahead. So it was a British design to keep India in a back foot. There is a meaning behind it. We can discuss why did the British do what it did at that point in time. They wanted to create a buffer state. Because at that point in time, the threat was that of expanding sphere of influence of Soviet Union.
Right.
Jammu and Kashmir, the northwestern portion of Jammu and Kashmir is hugging almost close to the underbelly of Soviet Russia. At that point in time, underbelly means the Central Asian Republic. It has got almost very close to the border of Central Asian Republic. You have things like Tajikistan, you have Uzbekistan, you have Turkmenistan is towards that side, Afghanistan side, Kazakhstan is to the depth, then Central Asian Republic,
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan. So there is a thin corridor called a Wakhan corridor between the border of Central Asian Republic and Jammu and Kashmir. But since Pakistan invaders had come into Jammu Kashmir in this transition phase, wherein they signed the Treaty of Accession pretty late, that is the time Indian Armed Forces, they went and stopped the raiders advance towards our side. That line was called a ceasefire line. That is where the battle was frozen. And subsequently, 1972, it was called a line of control.
I see. I think the thing is, last time I also talked with Pakistani professor, and the problem is Kashmir region is you never has a referendum, either Pakistan occupy Kashmir or Indian occupy Kashmir. As you said, princely state. They are autonomous, supposed to be independent state as a nature. But you said that Prince, the leader of Kashmir, the region, they joined India by the monarchy, the prince or the king or prince, they joined, but it's not necessarily the voice of the people, because the majority of the people in Kashmir is the Muslim. So that you never know. We never know about the people opinion. So I mean that is also disputable. I mean the problem is never done referendum by both sides. And the thing is, it's become international border after similar agreement. So that will be more difficult to discuss the independence of Kashmir because both country has occupied each partial of Kashmir. The referendum will be made maybe more independent for Kashmir because if they say we want independence from Indian occupy or Pakistan occupy, that will be more complicated. But before referendum, even there is still border conflict. Why don't you respect similar agreement and first you can make
What is
without conflict, non-conflict in the Kashmir?
I could have clarified many issues.
Sure.
Firstly,
You should.
Firstly, Pakistan was created. Do Pakistanis know how Pakistan was created? You ask them this question. Do they know?
It's partition, it's partition.
Why was it created? Was it two-nation theory? Was it based on religion? Was it based on language? Why was it created?
Right.
The same Jinnah, let me take a historical lesson also for you.
Sure.
Mr. Jinnah, who is the founding father.
For everybody, you can.
Yes. Mr. Jinnah, at one point in time, he was dead against partition. Dead against partition. Same Jinnah, at one point in time, after a couple of years, he started supporting partition. Incidentally, partition took place. The division between India and Pakistan was supposed to take place sometime in 1948. Do you know that division was advanced by 1 year? It was supposed to take place in June 1948. It was advanced to 1947. The British Army was not ready, was not prepared. The boundary between two countries had not been decided. Does Pakistani know about it? The boundary was drawn, it was declared, it was promulgated after 15th August, I think 17th of August 1947. So when you draw a boundary, after two nations have been divided and created, at the time of creation of two nations, there is no boundary. You have inbuilt an integral component of a dispute. So the genesis last line. Pakistan has got no right for Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is an inseparable, integral component of India.
That is good point for everybody to understand the geopolitics and regional neighbor, any border conflict, any dispute territory. So it is very appreciated for sharing opinion. Kashmir issue, you already said it is inseparable. Pakistan also said their side, they were not allowed to separate. So that will be unfinished disputing. Well, at least first thing, my point is at least you should accept similar agreement, and at least two countries to avoid conflict, and international borders should be made clearer.
Every dispute in the world has got a sequence of event. Unless we understand the sequence or the chronology, we will not be able to find any solution. Like Donald Trump is going to meet Putin now, okay, on 15th. Unless he goes into the sequence of event, the problem identification cannot be carried out. If you cannot identify the problem, it's like a patient going to a doctor. Okay, patient has got an option to indicate the disease or the symptom. If he is indicating the symptom, he will come back with a paracetamol. But if he is indicating the disease, then maybe the problem will be addressed right from the root itself. So therefore, it is very important to understand. Pakistanis will never understand. Never. I have also had interactions with Pakistani officials. Amit, they are best of my friends. We have been together in the United Nations. They are very good people. Unfortunately, they have been pushed to such a level that their existence as a nation state today is revolving around the center of gravity of the Pakistan army. Unfortunately.
I see.
So now let me just put things in the perspective. First question you have asked is a referendum, isn't it? Since no referendum has been held, therefore people's wish has not been taken into consideration. Ideally speaking, if everything was normal, I totally agree with you. But the circumstances were not normal circumstances. You see, there was a standstill agreement. Standstill agreement means no invasion by any party will take place at that point in time. All right. And perhaps I would presume that they may have thought of holding a referendum. But before the referendum could be held or any other activity could be undertaken, the Pakistan had invaded, defying the standstill agreement. When Pakistan had invaded, because the prince had a problem in his mind, the prince had Hindus to Jammu side, he had majority Muslim dominated area, Kashmir Valley, and he had Buddhist dominated area, Ladakh. He had three different geographical regions. When somebody is ruling or governing a particular piece of land, geography, with this kind of composition, there is a decision dilemma. I'm trying to put my feet in the shoes of, Dr. Hari Singh in his feet. He was the king that time. What could have happened? Plus, if you allow me, if it is permissible in your channel, I don't know.
Sure.
I'm showing a book. Just see this. Can you see this?
The Untold Story of India's Partition.
See the author.
Narendra Singh Sarila. Narendra Singh Sarila. Sarila. Okay. We see that.
Okay. So this is one book. The second book is this.
No exit from Pakistan. American total relationship with Islamabad. Daniel S. Marquez.
Okay. I am showing this book because time won't allow. By the time you and me come to some conclusion, time would be over. You see, if people really want to understand why the partition was created or made, the first book must be read to get an impartial kind of a view. Partition was not done because of Jinnah or Liaquat Ali Khan, because of language, because of two religion theory. Two religion theory and the language was created and mobilized by none other than Britishers so as to create a buffer state, because at that point in time, the Britishers knew that their coffin was empty. They were finding it very difficult at the end of the Second World War to continue any further. There was no money in the treasury, and USA was the growing power, global power. USA was putting pressure on British ki instead of 1948, you please hand over, create two states, and come back. Don't stay, don't, because that the rebellion had started. The agitation was in full swing. There was a freedom movement going on in India. So under these circumstances, British was already weak. There was a growing domestic pressure for Britishers to fall back, hand over and fall back. And America wanted to have some kind of a base, a strategic base, so that the expanding sphere of influence of Soviet Russia towards the Persian oil field and the Arabian Sea, warm waters of Arabian Sea. Soviet Russia at that point in time did not have a warm water port. Even now also, except for Sevastopol, they have invaded into Crimea in 2014. Okay, Sevastopol is the only port which they had at that point in time in Black Sea.
Right.
So they were looking for securing an access into the Arabian Sea at that point in time. So America wanted, it was the new global power or the superpower. They wanted to have a strategic base in the subcontinent so that the sphere of influence could be restricted. And in order to have a strategic base, by then the Congress, the ruling dominating party in India was the Congress, Indian Congress. They had indicated their non-aligned movement, their objective of non-aligned movement. That means they were neither towards the superpower nor towards the communist ruled country. They wanted to be autonomy, like strategic autonomy being exercised by India now. So Britishers, as also Americans, they knew that the Indian National Congress will not allow any place anywhere in the subcontinent, that is Indian subcontinent, for a military base.
Neutral.
So therefore,
neutral.
They wanted to artificially create Pakistan so that they could have strategic linkage and domination in this particular corridor, because Pakistan is located at the crossroad of South Asia, Middle East, Central Asian Republic, and China. It is located at such a geographic strategic importance of Pakistan is so great and so immense that it had to be held as a corridor, and they had a strategic base. You read this book, it is there in page number, I think, 32. Yeah, this will adequately clarify. 22, page number 22. And it says, it has been very more than adequately researched. This book was banned for quite a few years, by the way. And now I think it is an open sale. It can be purchased if you really want to know the truth. And it was banned in UK, not in India, if I remember correctly. So they created a strategic base there. They also created such a situation that Gilgit and Baltistan, toward the northern portion of Pakistan, occupied Kashmir, was made compulsorily as a part of Pakistan. Okay, this is one part. Now, second part, allow me about the referendum. Ideally speaking, referendum should have been held. Yes, I agree with you. But why couldn't the referendum be held? It could not be held because of the peculiarity or the extraordinary emergency situation created by unexpected raid by the Pakistani intruders. Despite the standstill agreement, if Pakistan is invaded into Jammu Kashmir, when Jammu Kashmir had not annexed or not signed the Treaty of Accession, under those circumstances, the referendum could not be held. It was an emergency situation. Now come to the third point. Why can't it be held now? It can be held because since the matter was referred to United Nations had laid out some rulings, some guidelines. That first and foremost thing is that Pakistan has to vacate that area which they have illegally occupied in Jammu and Kashmir, number one. Number two, the Pakistan army, which is there. Firstly, Pakistan has to vacate. Next is Pakistan army. Pakistan army also has to vacate that stretch or the corridor or portion of Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Third part, Indian army will go in to ensure peace and harmony and normalcy.
India,
Likewise, there are
India army also will be vacated.
no, not Indian army. Indian army will go in. These are the UN regulations. You read, you please open the thing and see. If I am wrong, I'm open to correction.
I see.
So
India
thereafter,
army should be going, but Pakistani army should be vacated.
Pakistan should vacate the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. One, Pakistan army also should vacate that. Okay, two. So first step was Pakistan vacating Jammu and Kashmir, Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Now, has Pakistan vacated Pak occupied Jammu and Kashmir? No. Has Pakistan army vacated the non-Pakistani, the Pakistani element which is there in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir also have to be pulled out. There are Punjabis of Pakistan who have gone into the Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, changed the demographic profile. This is the second one. You please go into it. If I'm saying anything wrong, I'll correct myself. Now come. Okay, now referendum could not be held. There are conflicts which have taken place 47, 48. In 65 also it took place. In 71 again it took place. After 71, you have actually laid emphasis on the Shimla Agreement. Now, what is Shimla Agreement? Shimla Agreement is indicating a spirit of resolving the issue. Shimla Agreement, after having liberated Bangladesh, after having defeated Pakistan army, everything was in favor of India. India could have negotiated from a position of strength. But India decided to show magnanimity to Pakistan, kept the 93 prisoners of war, much better than looking after our own soldiers, gave them all the comfort level, which a PW is not, perhaps may not be entitled elsewhere in the world, and gave everything back on a platter. The Hajipir Pass was given back to Pakistan once, twice. We had captured it in 1965. It was given back to Pakistan. Magnanimity was shown. 72 Shimla Agreement, it shows there are three important things. It has to be understood. First and foremost thing is that the ceasefire line of 1947-48, which was decided with the intervention of United Nations, should become a line of control. The possible name was from ceasefire line to line of control, from line of control to international borders. Okay, these are the steps. So the indication was to resolve the issue by converting into, at that point in time, into a ceasefire line, and subsequently, perhaps my presumption and understanding is it could have become the international border, but it did not happen. Okay, the second thing was 93,000 prisoners of war have to be returned. And what was the third thing? Third most important thing is that any issue between Pakistan and India will be resolved bilaterally by two-party system, two stakeholders. There will be no outsider intervention. There may be one odd extra point I may be forgetting. After all, I am also retired general. So I'm giving out from my off the cuff whatever I remember.
Sure.
It is not the question of defending. I, as an Indian, I am defending the truth, the chronology and the sequence of event. Unless the chronology is correctly understood, nothing worthwhile can be achieved. So what happened after Shimla Agreement? 93,000 prisoners of war were given on a platter without any negotiated stance. The ceasefire line became a line of control. And the third thing was everything to be decided bilaterally. After that, what happened in 1979, Pakistan started a kind of a proxy war. Proxy war in its inception stage, conceptual stage. This is called a K2 desk. Who started it? Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, when he was the prime minister, he had gone to give a talk in United Nations in 1965 when the conflict was on with India, between India and Pakistan. That time, they had a martial law, and Ayub Khan was the field marshal. He had indicated in his talk, if you actually go into the United Nations archive, you'll find this, that come what may, they will bleed India with 1,000 cuts. So their principal aim is to liberate Jammu and Kashmir as if it was their God-given property. Ziaul Haq was the martial ruler in 79. He converted his thesis or the concept of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto into a kind of a doctrine. It became that Pakistan will bleed India with 1,000 cuts. Consequent to that, they actually started unrest in Punjab, Khalistan movement. There were two desks in the ISI. One was Khalistan desk, the second was Kashmir desk. They decided that this particular agitation will be created. These are two border states having border with Pakistan. Both the states also have a common border of 130, 140 kilometers. They are contiguous to each other. They found it is easy to launch a proxy war. Khalistan movement in Punjab was put to rest by towards the end of 80s. When Khalistan movement was ending, they started an unrest and sort of initial steps of rebellion in Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir, by virtue of Muslim-dominated state, they took advantage, and having taken advantage, they started a kind of an insurgency. And when the insurgency started, it was supported by Pakistan through stages. It went up and came down, went up and came down. From early 90s, it picked up. By about mid 90s, there were a large number of terrorists from foreign countries, Muslim-dominated countries. They came in with the concept of jihad concept. What was jihad?
You
Jihad
mean
was
Muslim country mean even not just Pakistan, maybe from
it came from
Middle East or other country too?
Northwest Africa, it came from Iraq, it came from Iran, it came from Saudi Arabia, it came from Syria, came from Northwest African countries. So all these people, they came inside. That was the time. That was the time when the Russians were there in Afghanistan. So America, with the help of Pakistan, was trying to dislodge the Soviet Union from Afghanistan. They were taking help of Mujahideens. So the Mujahideen were gaining ground, roots in Pakistan. So gradually Pakistan started becoming a kind of Islamic. It was a radicalized society then. There's so many varieties of people of Mujahideens. They came into Pakistan. Soon they started calling them to be, some called Al-Qaeda, some called something else. Muslim Brotherhood, which got migrated from Egypt. Muslim Brotherhood started in Egypt. Okay. Wahhabism also started coming into the valley. They started pumping in these people and calling it as a indigenously developed resistance movement in Jammu and Kashmir. That the local people are resisting against the Indian government. Okay. So when this particular thing started taking place, a lot of foreign terrorists actually got neutralized. When the foreign terrorists got neutralized, they lost interest. Because the foreign Muslim countries, they realized that Pakistan is actually adopting a very devious mean. After adopting this came to realization, they started backing out. They went away. Then it became a local movement. The number of terrorists started coming down. So much so, in Jammu and Kashmir, south of Pir Panjal range, there was a total absence of any kind of terrorist activity in 2008-9 onwards for nearly 15 years now. Until it started reviving between 2020 to 2024. When the proxy war started reviving south of Pir Panjal range. Pir Panjal range is the mountainous range which is dividing the Kashmir Valley from Jammu. Jammu is one region, Kashmir Valley is another region, Ladakh is another one. These are all divided by mountain ranges. So the mountain range between Kashmir Valley and Jammu is the Pir Panjal range. They have a border with Pakistan. When you have a porous border with a country which is inimical to your philosophy and interest, they will keep pumping in the terrorists. In between, what happened? Things started looking up. The terrorist activity reduced, declined to negligible level. Economic activity, the present government, Narendra Modi's government, started pumping in money. The roads, national highways, railway lines, air connectivity, AIMS management schools, engineering colleges, employment opportunities, foreign direct investment, they started pumping in. In 2023, the number of tourists to this particular valley, it crossed almost about, I think, 2.1 crore or something. 2.1 crore means 200 million, more than 200 million people in 1 year.
A lot of revenue.
Okay, revenue plus it indicated normalcy. Also in 2023, the G20 took place in which India was the president. We had one of the meetings in Kashmir Valley. So the global representative, they came and saw all these things happening. By then, the Article 370 and 35 Alpha, which gave a temporary linkage with Indian Constitution, temporary linkage, was also abrogated. Now, what is Article 370? Article 370 was giving some kind of artificially created protection to Jammu and Kashmir so as to enjoy a separate constitution, a separate flag, a separate prime minister. Okay, so that means everything that was promulgated or laws which are formulated in the Indian Constitution or Parliament had to be ratified once again by bicameral system by the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly. This prohibited many central schemes and benefits to poor people who are staying in the mountains and remote areas as also in developed places. So this issue was gone into detail. And after having gone into the details, then it was investigated as to how best we can resolve the issue. So this temporary Article 370, which had been injected into the Constitution, was decided to be removed. It was a temporary provision for a couple of years, 5-6 years, but it kept on lasting for so long, thereby giving a kind of a assistance to Pakistan to continue launching this proxy war. So now see the milestones that have happened. Thereafter, there was a raid, there was an attack on Uri post, military post by Pakistan militants or the terrorists. As a counter for the first time, India carried out a cross-border surgical strike in the Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This was in the year 2016. This was followed by a Pulwama attack. 40 CRPF Jawans were killed. And this was followed by an attack at Balakot by Air Force surgical attack. Next, this thing happened at Pahalgam on 22nd April. Okay, so 22nd April, it happened because of a couple of reasons. First and foremost thing, this abrogation of Article 370 and 35 Alpha on 5th of August 2019. It did not go down too well into the system of Pakistan and China. On 9th August 2019, the Foreign Minister, Mr. Qureshi of Pakistan, he air dashed to China. He had a meeting with important officials there, and they formulated a counter strategy. And the counter strategy was to revive proxy war south of Pir Panjal range, which had become dormant. Normalcy had come back. So it started terrorism in south of Pir Panjal ranges. They started killing the tourists. Slowly, they started penetrating back into the Kashmir Valley. They started killing people there also. So by then, the Galwan incident had taken place. 15th June 2020, pandemic was in the background, COVID-19 pandemic. When Galwan incident took place, entire northern border had extended standoff. So troops got mobilized from south of Pir Panjal to northern border. Taking advantage of this vacuum or the void, Pakistan army and the terrorists, they penetrated into the vacuum and revived the proxy war, to the honest. Okay, so this is one part. Pahalgam part is related to Pakistan becoming beyond control. Pakistan was about to break up.
So, Pelgam issue last April, there was a
22nd April, this year.
suicide
Yeah.
bomb, and Pakistan officially said it is a terrorist. So they are totally condemned about the terrorist act. So
I'm happy. I'm glad. I'm glad, Mr.
which
Tan.
means
Very nice.
Pakistan officially they are not they are not part of terrorist activity, and because they condemn it. So
Now, I'm very happy and proud of.
you said about usually many cases Pakistan has proxy war. Maybe Pakistan may not say as proxy war, but Pakistan say terrorist and they condemn terrorists.
Call it by any name. Call it terrorist, call it non-state actor, call it something. But you have to accept there is a thing called a deep state in Pakistan. Deep state is nothing but Pakistan Army and ISI. Okay, so what is the deep state? Deep state is something a shadow government. There is an elected government and there is a shadow government. So the elected government will do anything and everything dictated by the shadow government. So the Pakistan Army chief has already been called once, invited once for lunch with Donald Trump. He's being invited for the second time. He will be going soon. So what I'm trying to bring out is 11th of March, the Jafar Express train got hijacked somewhere near in Balochistan. They related this incident to one of the actions by our intelligence team, raw team. So allegation, counter allegation continues. But the fact of the matter, you read, and also if you Google up Musharraf, during Musharraf time, there are number of video clips which are available, wherein he is gone in open media. He is confessed that yes, Kargil war took place because the Mujahids were there. These Al-Qaeda that they were talking of, Mujahidins, they came into Pakistan in such hordes and numbers from all over, from all the Muslim countries. Pakistan did not know how to control, what to do with them. It is then the martial ruler, Musharraf, who's making this statement. It is there in audiovisual. You can check it up. Check any literature. So in the meantime, Pakistan had become a nuclear state. Okay, so they called a nuclear bluff, sorry, what do you call that? Blackmail of nuclear blackmail number of times. India did not go full hog attack in Kargil war. We did not cross the line of control, thinking that the nuclear blackmail, there may be a nuclear attack. I happen to be one of them during that period which you're discussing, you and me. Okay, so so what is it that I'm trying to highlight? I'm trying to highlight that in the due course, Jammu and Kashmir has had a number of elections, democratically conducted elections. People's wishes have been already registered. They have accepted the governance. Even if something was not accepted, let's see, hypothetically, it was not digestible or acceptable, post abrogation of Article 370, the Jammu and Kashmir has had successful elections at the state level and at the parliament level, at the national level. So, and it was thumping majority. So once the elections have been held, and prior to that, let me tell you, there are several elections which have been conducted in Jammu and Kashmir. Even if you do not attach importance, at least some elections have been held. These elections, similar elections, have not been held in Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Talk about the economic development, talk about the per capita income, talk about the GDP, their livelihood. There is nothing existing there. So vis-a-vis that, we are giving them economic development, prosperity, employment opportunities, education, quality of life, medical health care, and look at the connectivity and the tourists which have started going into Kashmir Valley. Let the whole world see. The entire world has seen. Now Pakistan has been put under FATF once as grey list. It's about time it is put under the blacklist and it is isolated by one and all in the world.
Sure, it's very good as you as you said, and election is every time it's held in Jammu Kashmir. But I mean, there was election for prime minister, election for parliament, election for state
At, at the provincial,
assembly
at the state
election.
level, yes,
So
yes.
there is many political election. There are
There is a democracy.
many things
There
of
is,
election and
yes,
many purpose of election. But I mean, referendum is for whether they want to be independent, they want to be part of India or part of Pakistan or such thing is different issue, you know. Election
that's
are
gone.
different issue.
It's
So
it's a
the point is uh you cannot say and I cannot say now what will be the result of referendum after we make because as you said the majority is Muslim local people although it's prince is Hindu but majority local people are Muslim in Kashmir even in Pakistan and also I talk with many of them and uh, it will be, you know, they seem Muslim will be their own favoritism will be Muslim, you know, that is their feeling. We can see that, and but we don't know what will be the result of referendum and the real politics. You know, if you see real politics, you also mentioned a lot of contradiction with the border issue and those conflict issue, geopolitical issue involving China, Soviet, even British, American. So the real politics will be different. And India economies grow, but the India political also uh, different, uh, different than before because now Prime Minister Modi under his government is Hindutva very strong. Within India, a lot of domestic Muslims are also sometimes feel very inconvenient things in within domestic India. So Kashmir Muslim you cannot predict were willing to remain in India or they want to be independent or they want to be part of Pakistan. The real politics will be different, you know? Yes.
let's kill the issue. Referendum was an issue relevant and related to the timeline of 1947-48. Lot of water have flown down the Indus River into Pakistan. Now the water is being stopped. IWT, okay, it has been held in abeyance. So I would, if the world is looking at peace, harmony, progress, then the truth be reconciled with. Let's not, bring out a dead rabbit from nowhere and try to, give that ICU treatment of ventilator and oxygen, liquid oxygen, to bring some life into it. A referendum is of no consequence. It has got no relevance today. Jammu and Kashmir has become an inseparable and integral partner. Coming to the Muslim religion you're talking of, there is a delimitation which has been carried out because of population rise. There are delimitation. Delimitation is as per the population, you have constituency. Democracy, you have the constituency leaders. So it's total supposed to be 111 seats in the assembly. Out of 111 seats, there are 87 seats towards our side, towards India side. There are balance 47 or whatever balance is towards Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir. I would strongly recommend to the government of India conduct elections, let people from across the border participate. There are many places, many countries in the world, elections are being conducted. If you are talking about the Muslims, well, if Pakistan has got 240 million Muslims, India is no less. India has already crossed the line of 200 million. More than 20 crores Muslims are there in India.
Right.
Jammu and Kashmir, by virtue of what is the population of Jammu and Kashmir, when I was serving, it was 1.25 crore or 112.5 million, meaning 1.25 crore. Now it must be reaching a figure of 1.30 crore.
And for a Kashmir issue will be, I mean, if you see real politics and is based on democracy, we don't know the desire of Kashmir people, you know, it's if you see democracy, it's important about desire of the people, whether the referendum result will be something else. That is, if possible, referendum, but I don't see real politics referendum will be uh, in favor of both Pakistan or India, because those bilateral agreement will be more beneficial for India and Pakistan. Otherwise, uh, we cannot predict the desire of Kashmir if they want independence. That will be complicated.
The relevance and importance of a referendum was lost or got diluted after Shimla Agreement. If at all it was to have taken place, it should have taken place in a reasonably acceptable time frame. There are 4 conflicts which have actually gone in. People count 3. I say there are 4 conflicts. And there is an ongoing conflict, trans-border terrorism. Whether Pakistan agrees or not, there are more than adequate evidence. What more do you require when Osama bin Laden was found in Abbottabad, a few kilometers away from Military Academy of Pakistan by none other than USA after 9/11?
Right.
After 9/11, what more proof do you want? You kept on dilly-dallying the terminology and the definition given by India way back in 96, 97 to United Nations Security Council. And lo and behold, the same terrorists, they came and attacked your Twin Tower. And only then you started getting a kick up on your backside and started getting mobilized. And you thought Osama bin Laden would be there in Afghanistan. You didn't find him there. Finally, you took 11 years, more than 11 years to find him at a place called Abbottabad. What more proof you do want? There are so many such kind of terrorists in Pakistan. Imran Khan, when he was the prime minister, he has gone on media, international media, CNN, and said, you are blaming me for terrorism. There are hundreds of terrorist organizations which are threatening me and my existence. To an extent, I agree that Pakistan itself has actually become a victim of terrorism. And that reminds me, Hillary Clinton, when she came and said, don't ever think that the snakes that you nurture in your backyard will continue to bite only the enemy. The same snake can also bite you. So same thing is happening to Pakistan. So if the global order wants to actually genuinely, sincerely wants to make sure, and look at the number of bailouts from IMF to Pakistan, 25 bailouts. I don't think any country in the world would be matching these figures as that of Pakistan. China has built the China-Pakistan economic corridor through the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which rightfully belongs to India.
This and this politics, US know that, European know that, China know that, but they are still this and this politics.
No.
Yes. That is real
allow me,
politics.
2 more lines.
It's real politics.
Two lines. You see, it will be incorrect on my part as an Indian retired general to let this discussion go in a manner wherein your understanding about the subject is that a referendum should be held for a solution. No, referendum is not the answer. The answer is actually what India is saying, that Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir is an inseparable, integral part, and as per resolution of 1994, if at all something is pending to be done, this has to be taken back to make it wholesome as an inseparable part of India. We are discussing about Pakistan, who hasn't tried meaningfully and substantively. The previous Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he went to carry out negotiation meaningfully with Pakistan. Musharraf was the chief of the army staff, martial ruler. Musharraf also came to India to settle the problem in Agra. But nothing happened. What happened? In return, Kargil was given to us. The same way Narendra Modi went to Nawaz Sharif's, I think, granddaughter's wedding. He had gone to Dubai on his back, way from Dubai. He's just without any pre-planned movement. He landed up. That is the extra mile and step being taken by the Indian leaders. And what was in return given? Uri attack in 2016. So what do you do under these circumstances? You tell us a solution. Is referendum going to stop the trans-border terrorism? Are you looking for a permanent solution? If 78 years have not given us a permanent solution to a lingering problem, permanent solution is the genetic disorder based on which artificially this country was created. Not that I am saying you merge Pakistan. Pakistan today economically has become unviable. It cannot service its debts.